Hello and welcome everybody to another season of the I-League. It is season number 2. These are the European qualifiers. It should be qualifier A or B, I'm not even too sure of myself, but it is the final for that particular qualifier. So HellRaisers or Lions will advance to the next round here. Of course, it's going to be a best of 3 and should be a goddamn epic series. I mean, HellRaisers, Lions should be rather even skill-wise for sure. Lions, they're on kind of a hot streak ever since they fused themselves with Tractor Pair. Lots of members from X-Coast there. Hansken, Ape Mother, and Seal Kid, of course. But we are HeflaTV, and I'm Coucher. Plus, I am joined by the Swordfish Man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to be back after my week hiatus, and yeah, I want to see this new Lions play out. I've seen a couple of their games ever since they fused, and they seem to be very very strong. I don't know what HellRaisers is gonna do. Like it's quite a scary lineup actually.
Oh man, for sure it is. So, do you have your own favorites coming into this? I mean, would you give like a clear advantage? Do you think the series will pan out as 2-0 or 2-1?
I honestly think it's gonna be 2-1. I think, like you said, these teams are pretty close. But I also Hellraisers does have a tendency to do badly if they get in like they tend to get on tilt sometimes and they sometimes like get really stressed out. So it could be a 2-0. Lions wins the first game like by a lot, something of the sort. I do give a slight advantage to Lions. Just because of this fusion, I think they're really strong. But I don't think Hellraisers is going to lose for sure. I think they definitely have a chance, but it really depends on how they perform in this game.
Yeah, I would probably give a slight advantage to Lions as well because just like the three or four last series that I've seen them play have been absolutely like 2-0 crush. That's how they've been running with the new lineup that they have. It's been impressive to say the least, but looking at the just draft coming out at this point, it's rather slow from both sides. Just IO and Brewmaster banned out by HellRaisers, Vengeful the first ban from Lions, Ogre the second one. It's not the most common of bans coming out, but it just
No.
goes to show that both teams kind of are respecting each other and banning out the heroes that they're comfortable with.
The Avenge is quite interesting ban. It could be a respect ban for the Hellraisers because they do run it quite a lot, but it could also be something that they're planning to do. Maybe they plan to run a void or something of that sort. Don't want to get the Venge counter. It's definitely an interesting ban. Like you said, it's not common at all.
Well, HellRaisers' first pick is theirs to make. Death Prophet is in the pool if they want to go for that sort of hero. So is the Jakiro, Tide Hunter, whatever they wish really.
Hmm.
Although Death Prophet has been kind of falling off slowly but surely. I mean, in more and more games, I see her either completely ignored or maybe picked up as like a fifth hero or something.
It's just that I think they're starting to realize that she's just not that high impact hero. Like she's just good in every game, but like there's definitely heroes that can do a little bit more than her. Especially now that they learn to play the meta. And Jakiro's gonna be the first pick. Do you think it's gonna be a core Jakiro again?
I would think so, but that's the nice thing about going for such a first pick as well. All in all, just picking such heroes in the draft. It does give you the flexibility just going for the rest of the four heroes, so always nice to have the options to like run it off lane, safe lane, support, even safe lane core if you want to mid lane core. It just gives you maybe a slight edge in the draft.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Especially heroes like, oh, whoa, now Venomancer. So Lions likes running the Venomancer in a core position as well. So it's gonna be interesting. I always like seeing these supposed supports, so these guys that used to be supports in core positions. They both have quite a pushing power right now. So it really depends on what the rest of the picks gonna be. But I like the draft for now. It seems like it's gonna be like a quite a quick, interesting game.
I mean, Core Venomancer, it's ridiculous how popular it has become just because
Yep.
you farm up your Aghanims, you pop your ultimate, and more or less your job in the team fight is done. You can die after that. Of course, it's still preferable if you survive, just to have the Plague Wards for the push after the fight or whatnot. But your main priority is get off your ultimate onto as many targets as possible. And when it's Aghanims buffed, it is just so hard to deal with that. Even if you build a pipe, even that doesn't ensure your safety.
No, yeah, it's completely true. Venomancer, the amount of sheer magical damage he brings out, and also that combined with Ancient Apparition with his Ice Blast is like people are gonna die for sure with that combination. It's a really powerful combo of just magical damage. This would make me consider if I was Hellraisers a Rubik, just because still the ultimates are really good. The skills from both Venomancer and Ancient Apparition are really powerful. And on top of that, is the fact that the no field is so good against these two heroes. It really prevents a couple deaths if used properly. So I'd really consider Rubik if I was Hellraisers right now.
Well, they go for an Enigma instead. Maybe giving Lions a reason to go for Rubik. I mean, nice to steal the Ice Path from
Yeah.
Jakiro. Stay in the Black Hole as well. I'm not too sure if Lions even want to go for a hero such as the Rubik, but HellRaisers with the Enigma, do you think it's a little bit greedy, or are they really going for just the all-out kind of push? Liquid Fire, Eidolons, plus maybe something extra as well.
Well, it's a good pick because combined with Jakira, he does have a lot of synergy. But at the same time, the Enigma tends to stay in place and tends to get everyone to kind of stay in place. So usually the Enigma has to pick out the stunners and get them in the black hole to prevent his black hole from being cancelled. But in this case, if he doesn't get the Ancient Apparition or the Venomancer, most of his team is going to be hit by those two ultimates. So I don't know. It's quite a dangerous pick. I don't think it's the huge black hole turnover we usually see. But like you said, it does have a lot of pushing power with Jakiro. So I don't know. I don't really know what HellRaisers is planning on running it. Maybe it could be an Enigma offlane, actually, not an Enigma jungle as we usually see. Make him more of a pusher, which is what Enigma offlane tends to build.
It's definitely a possibility for them, and it is a rather strong offlaner, I guess, just
Yeah.
because you can constantly be denying those creeps. So we'll see if they want to run it like that or not. But looking at the next set of bans, Naga banned out by Lions. They do not want to go up against the Radiant split push by the looks of it. Of course, maybe they're not planning on going for like massive amounts of physical cleave or just any kind of cleave to take care of the illusions fast, but they do ban out the Death Prophet now, and I think it was kind of a necessary ban with the amount of push HellRaisers already had.
Yeah. The Death Prophet. Yeah, was like it was one of those heroes that it will always be good in this case. So I like the ban. But they still have the Razor in the pool. Do you think that could be a possibility for either of the teams actually?
I mean, Razor is definitely a hero that is rather strong in most cases,
Hmm.
although it's also a hero that has a little bit fallen off now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind it. I mean, it's nice to just build a mech for him, maybe. Sometimes you just don't go for the mech these days because the mech mana cost is rather taxing on you.
Hmm. Go for
But
Racket straight up. Yeah. I mean, what else HellRaiser I'd consider? It depends. Do you think HellRaiser is going for an all-out push lineup? Or do you think they're trying to go for more team fighty and push?
I guess already with the Enigma and Jakiro, they might have just plenty of team fight as it is, and they can focus on the pushing more than just going for team fight now, especially now that the Faceless Void was picked up by Lions.
Mhm.
Although, I still think something like a Tidehunter wouldn't be a miss for HellRaisers. Just run the Enigma jungle, Tidehunter offlane. That gives you plenty of team fights. That just allows you to, whenever you have the Ravage and the Black Hole up off cooldown, you can easily just push in and not be too afraid. I guess the Chronosphere
Yeah.
is a little bit of a worry now, but I mean, Black Hole and Ravage plus Jakiro to follow up, it's just so crazy.
I completely agree. Also, just want to point out when the Venge ban came out, I said maybe they pick up Faceless Void, and they picked it. Just want to point out, and now they counter that with a Skywrath Mage, which is quite a good counter, but it really takes away from their pushing potential because Skywrath Mage has no pushing potential whatsoever. So, I mean, I like it, but the synergy with it, maybe Hellraiser has really limited their strategy now because going for a push strategy is going to be much harder for them now.
Oh, it will most certainly be so. I mean, Skyriff Mage, I guess they have a like reasonable setup at the moment for the Mystic Flare, Ice Path, as well as even the Malphite if need be. And Ancient Seal always is going to be nice, but Lions now, how do you think they will run the Faceless Void? I mean, Era definitely is a player that usually likes to go for those really hard carries, just safe lane, farm them up, and then like later on start joining the fights. How do you think they will play the Faceless Void?
I mean, like you said, Era could perfectly run the Faceless Void. I haven't seen him much on him, to be honest, though. But at the same time, like just the fact that the Venomancer is going to be a core for sure, unless they go do something crazy like Dazzle Core or Ancient Apparition Core, it's most likely going to be a Venomancer in the off lane. If the Venomancer in the K position, I mean, they could have an offensive tri-lane with Dazzle and Ancient Apparition. In fact, I think that might be the best. The offensive tri-lane with Venomancer and Ancient Apparition and Dazzle, and then put Faceless Void in the safe lane position. And he gets EXP and farm. I think that would be probably the ideal situation. And then HellRaisers now picks up an anti-mage. That's an interesting pickup. What do you think of this?
And I guess they're going for the farm game at this point. I guess with the rest of the free heroes, they might be strong enough to create the space for the anti-mage just to get the farm. Anyone Skyriff Mage and Jakiro definitely should be able to just team fight. Plus one hero, of course, will be coming out for them as well. So, but not only that, I really like that if you're going for like those farm-oriented carries, that you will also have some power push. And with the Liquid Fire and the Eidolons, they definitely have it. So if they can get, for example, just the tier 1s down within like a 15-minute timing or something like that, it's just going to boost up the anti-mage's speed for the Battle Fury. and just the next items to follow. So might be fight ready within a reasonable timing before Lions can just death ball out of control or something.
The anti-mage also brings out the Battle Fury, which gives him a little bit of a split push potential. In fact, if HellRaisers now picked up the Nature's Prophet as their offlaner, I don't think that would be a bad choice either. Gives them the extra split push, put a team fight, decent hero in the late game as well. I think that would be an interesting pickup as well. The only issue would be that he doesn't have the option to go to the jungle because the Enigma would obviously be there. So it's a little bit risky, but it definitely would be good to synergize with the lineup. And what do you think the last pick for Lions is going to be now?
I really have no idea. I guess they could go for something like a Tidehunter themselves. It really depends on how they want to lane this. Tidehunter off lane could be possible with Faceless Voids, Dazzle, Lynch, Depression, safe lane, something like that. And Venomancer mid then to follow. I mean, Tidehunter definitely a strong enough hero to do so, I guess. Also, they definitely need like some form of lockdown to deal with the anti-mage, because what do they have at this point? Chronosphere, that's it.
That's really bad, actually. I would agree. What mid has a good lockdown in this case? Maybe go for a Puck, perhaps, with the silence?
Puck would be actually excellent against pretty much most of HellRaisers' heroes. He's one of the few heroes that can also escape a Yule Scepter Ice Path from the Jakiro, for example, so I wouldn't mind it at all in this case. Silence excellent against the Anti-Mage, even the Dream Coil. Even if the Anti-Mage blinks out, it's gonna break the Dream Coil and get stunned anyway after that, so it could be a viable pick for them for sure. But man, Anti-Mage, I actually think it was a pretty nice pick all in all, just because there is the lack of lockdown, and of course Spell Shield against the Venomancer as was the Ancient Apparition is gonna be just excellent.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I didn't think of that, but you know, HellRaisers kind of changed their strategy throughout the draft, I think. But Morphling, interesting pickup actually.
I don't. Good old Morphling versus Anti-Mage, man.
I don't really know if I like Morphling. Against this Anti-Mage, like you said, the Spell Shield, Morphling really, loses a lot of damage with that if you go for the shotgun build usually. The heroes in HellRaiser are not that tanky, so that's pretty good for him. But at the same time, I think they might have picked it just to ban it from the HellRaisers guys, so they can't get it against the Faceless Void. I think it might be a consideration.
Maybe so, but now HellRaisers going for them a Storm Spirit as well. It's a hero that I guess they run moderately often as well, but it gives them a lot of just late game potential between the Anti-Mage and the Storm Spirit, of course. The one good thing about the Morphling is that you can replicate the Anti-Mage and just use his strength against himself.
Yeah.
But still the lack of lockdown. I mean, Anti-Mage, he can just blink away once he gets replicated, so the Anti-Mage, maybe the replicate will be enough to just try to kill off the other heroes on HellRaisers, but Anti-Mage himself, I have my doubts that he's going to be affected at all almost by it. Only if the Chronosphere is like literally catching the Anti-Mage when he's on the edge, and the Anti-Mage replicate can still right-click him, but I wouldn't hope on that too much.
Honestly, the HellRaisers team kind of said, okay, Lions has no lockdown, let's pick heroes that really need lockdown, because they're going to have the Storm Spirit and Anti-Mage. Like, I think it's to the point where they might have to consider getting something like a Orchid, just to be able to kill these heroes, because, like, the only thing they can kill them with is the Yol's Ancient Apparition, so they can guarantee a Cold Feet. There's a small stun with a Dazzle Poison Touch, and there's also the Chronosphere. That's really it.
It's going to be extremely hard for them to shut down the multiple cores. I mean, if they focus a lot on the Anti-Mage, that's just usually going to mean that the Storm Spirit is going to get the farm, or that they're going to get the towers in compensation on the other part of the map or something. So I really like how balanced HellRaisers are, kind of. Just, they have the push, they have the late game, mid game is decent this as well. I guess laning phase is where they might be the weakest in the sense that they do have the jungler Enigma. So maybe that's where Lions can just take advantage of this, but do you think they're gonna go for some form of aggressive tri-lane with like Dazzle, Ancient Apparition, Morphling, or are they gonna run it safe?
Like, I really think they should. I mean, the Faceless Void, like they have good lanes, but both Faceless Void and Morphling are not that great in the lane either. I mean, they have some damage and whatnot, but they need the farm. So I think the only lane that has any chance of doing amazingly is this super aggressive tri-lane between Ape Mother, Seal Kid, and Hanskin. Just basing on the heroes that they picked, though, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the case, but I think it's the option for Lions. Get some good start, and then hopefully the mid-game is yours, even though they have an Enigma.
The thing is, though, that if they go for aggressive tri-lane and do send Faceless Void on the safe lane, for example, it is just going to mean that the Faceless Void will be going up against the Jakiro, and Jakiro with the Liquid Fire, he can be so abusive on a lane, especially if it's a 1v1 matchup. Faces Void, of course, with a time lock, just goes for like early Portman Shield maybe as well, maybe even an Orb of Venom. Usually is kind of a lane bully himself in 1v1 matchups, but if it should be a Faces Void versus Jakiro, who would you favor in that matchup?
I think the Jakiro, like you said, is much more powerful. It's mainly, I think, rather than the damage, just because of the attack slow, it makes the Faces Void really hard. Like he can't last it with you efficiently, and eventually you get a Faces Void that he wasn't killed at bottom because Jakiro has a hard time killing a Faces Void because of the time walk and whatnot. But at the same time, he didn't get farm or much EXP either because he was harassed out of lane constantly. So like you said, that's true. Maybe the aggressive tri-lane could be a little risky because it would shut down their Faces Void as they do it.
It's just, I mean, I guess Faces Void would get shut down if you went offlane as well, but at least that would mean that the Jakiro doesn't get off to a good start, but Jakiro, of course, he doesn't need, like, that many items. Yule Scepter is definitely going to be excellent for him, but all he needs really is at level 7. I mean, I don't know. I really think that how HellRaisers ended the draft just maybe tipped the balance in their favor, kind of. But we do have some pauses, and somebody is lagging. I'm not too sure if they're going to ask for a remake or not, but we're going to find out soon enough. But we can, I guess, introduce the lineups in the meantime. So for HellRaisers on the dire side, Artist will be playing the Anti-Mage, leaving Afa Ninja on the Storm Spirit, Gotham playing the Enigma with Dread on the Skyriff Mage, and the last one will be Koretz on the Jakiro offlane.
As for Lions, we are going to have 8 Mother on the Venomancer, Hanskin playing that Ancient Apparition support position, Seal Kid the second support playing that Dazzle, Jawsome Fan will be playing the Faceless Void, and finally Era with that Morphling. And the position's a little bit unknown to be fair, because they might want to mix it up a little bit.
I mean, I think usually 8 Mother at least is the mid lane player, but who knows how they're going to run it this time around. Era, of course, on the Morphling has been playing Morphling mid, at least in the Fnatic. Used to run it rather often as well, so we'll see. But HellRaisers, their captain's internet is lagging, so fun times ahead, man.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can fix it soon, so they can get onto the match. And yeah, like you said, Era does have a history of Morphling in mid, but he usually gets a Lich with him. Like it's very common for Era when he used to play in Fnatic to get Morphling mid, but they had like a Lich or maybe Nio or something of the sort with him, so he could have some help.
I guess it was more like when it was purely solo, it might have even been Honey on the Morphling more often than that.
It's true. But I don't know. It definitely could be an Era mid. In fact, Morphling mid against what? A Storm Spirit? I think he could do very well.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad probably. Although solo, I guess Storm Spirit wouldn't be threatened too much as well. There should be almost no chance that the Morphling actually gets a kill on Storm Spirit like that. But I don't know. I guess Venomancer mid lane is just excellent in the sense that you get guaranteed levels, and on a Venomancer you want to get just as high of a Poison Nova level as you can.
That's true, and you can start applying early pressure as well, made with those wards and whatnot. So that's actually pretty good. And that might be their only chance, though. Do you think like the Venomancer possible push with him, just to apply pressure and force Anti-Mage and Storm Spirit out of the possible farming positions they might get? Even Enigma, if you force them out of the jungle early, whatnot, with a good pressure by the Venomancer, that could be ideal for you. And well, the game starts now. Woo!
I mean, usually if HellRaisers didn't have a jungler and they would have 2 aggressive supports, then I would maybe prefer Morphling mid lane just because he has to escape with the waveform. But since they do have the Enigma in the jungle, of course some Enigmas still go rather aggressive, just roam around with smokes, use the Malphite to actually get kills as well. But it's not that huge of a threat, so Venomancer should be just fine in the mid lane, but we do have Lions just going 5-man into the enemy jungle. Maybe we want to ward off some camps, maybe actually want to fight as well. Chilling Touch, definitely an excellent ability early on. And of course they do have the Dazzle for the Shadow Wave, maybe a clutch Shallow Grave if need be. I have my doubts that they're going to find anybody though with the position HellRaisers is going in. They should have vision in time, I think, unless Artist. Well, he hasn't skilled anything, so can go for Blink if needed.
Yeah, so Artist is going to be okay, but they did block this camp, and I don't know if HellRaisers will know this. And this is going to really take away from the laning phase. So I like that Lajons is really taking advantage of this laning phase, because it's probably when HellRaisers, like you said, are weakest.
Well, of course, it's still so hard for them to actually kill this Anti-Mage. Once they get Poison Nova and Ice Blast, it's gonna be a little bit easier. Spell Shield, of course, will negate lots of that anyway, but just the lack of stun is gonna hurt them so bad. But they're gonna find Artist now, just box him off from the rune at least, if nothing else. But looks that they are running some form of dual lanes. I guess dual lanes are becoming more and more popular these days, so it's not all that surprising, I guess. And with a Dazzle backing up the Faceless Void, he should be fine on the lane.
I mean, in a lane with not that many disables, not that many stuns and whatnot, I guess it makes sense to run dual lanes because you can't like chain stuns and whatnot and stop someone from moving. I guess it's just multiple slows. But I don't know. I don't know how effective these dual lanes will be. Like the Jakiro is definitely gonna have a hard time, but up top they're gonna have the time of their life. Like it's not like Skyrath Mage is a bad damage dealer. He can really dish out a lot of damage and easily harass the Void.
Oh, most certainly so. So we'll see. I mean, between the Mana Break and the Skyrath Mage, it's going to be maybe somewhat hard. Seal Kid might just take the role of staying farther back and kind of spamming out the heals if necessary. But mid lane, Ape Mother will be facing FNH. I guess before they hit level 6s, if it's really 1v1, nobody should really die, unless there's some diving action going on.
Yeah. But HeflaTV right now is really dominating the lane towards Ape Mother. You getting those denies and whatnot. It's good. This Storm is playing. He's playing pretty effectively, and I thought Ape Mother usually would have does Venomancer have an advantage over Storm Spirit in mid? What do you think?
I wouldn't say it has an advantage. Maybe once they get like level 5 or above that. Once you have the Plague Wards on level 3 or more. Before that, Plague Wards just rather easily get farmed up by the Storm Spirit or really anybody else as well. So it just kind of feeds more gold into them if you're a little bit careless with the Plague Wards. So I wouldn't say either side has a clear advantage in this matchup.
That's fair. Gores, by the way, got extremely harassed by DA, and he kind of realized the power of that chilling touch. Like, he legitimately hit him 5 attacks and then no health whatsoever on him. And up top seems like it's a constant fight between them, but none of them is going to have the ability to die. With a Void, with a Time Walk, and Artist that has the Blink, I think it's going to be really hard for any kills to happen up top despite the constant harassment.
What kind of skill build do you expect Artist to go for on the anti-mage?
It's interesting because I think anti-mage skill build really depends on what happens in the game. I usually max blink and whatnot, but in this case maybe a couple points into spell shield early on would be really powerful considering the lineup and the enemy team. So it really depends. If you have the ability to kind of split push and farm and not be present in battles in the early to mid game, then definitely go for blink first and then maybe mana break. But if you are needed in constant fights, then definitely the spell shield is needed before anything else. Actually,
yeah, it probably does rely indeed on just how they want to play this. What's their game plan for this game? Do they have the anti-mage just farming up where the rest are creating space? Goret's bottom lane though does drop pretty damn low. Era waveform doesn't have enough mana. 4 seconds on cooldown as well. Nice dual breath from Goret's, healing, salving himself up. So he's gonna be fine. Hanskin taking so much damage from the tower. They might even get the kill. Goret's another liquid fire, and that's gonna be first blood. Era. He's forced to run away as well. Liquid Fire still on cooldown. Dual Breath does catch Era in the backhand. I don't think he's gonna have enough anyway with a level 2 Liquid Fire, but man, that should have gone the other way around if you're Lions.
Yeah, that was quite unfortunate. I mean, first of all, the constant body block that Hanskin was giving to Era, like kind of a lack of communication there. And on top of that is just the fact that they dived way too far for no reason really. Jakiro has boots, so I don't really know.
You're definitely hurting them quite a lot. I mean, Goret's now, he's level 4 already. He's gonna have that level 3 Liquid Fire soon enough as well. Already has the Tranquil Boots to work with. So, what's his next item choice for Jakiro? Do you go for like straight off into Yule's Scepter? Do you build a mech for your team first? Or, I guess Enigma goes for the mech this game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, unless it really need initiation and Enigma has to rush a blink or something of the sort, Enigma definitely has to go for the mech, or would go for the mech. Jakiro in this case, I mean, what do you need besides Yule's? He might be getting, Basilius?
I guess just one set of Bazzi, or one Bazzi rather, is never bad on your team. So it has picked up the Ring of Protection, so I guess that's going to be it. So Ring of Bazzi, the Tranquil Boots, and like I guess Magic Wand, and then you can go into the Yules if you want, or something along those lines. And I guess, for example, a Venomancer and even the Dazzle, they spam out spells fairly often, so Magic Stick or Magic Wand definitely wouldn't go amiss.
Yeah, true. Also, on HellRaisers team, maybe something like actually, yeah, something like a Veil of Discord. Door is the reason. Something like the Veil of Discord would not be that bad. I mean, yeah, they have the anti-mage, they have some people which might, like the Morphling, they wouldn't be that effective on him and stuff, and the Dazzle can really save people from the constant damage. But the damage from Jakiro, Enigma, Storm, and Skyrath Mage is considerable. So a Veil could be a consideration after the Yules, maybe.
Oh, wow. With this pause, I just took a look at the last hit numbers for the mid lane specifically. Half an inch, 26 and 9 compared to a 13 and 4 Ape Mother. I guess lots of those must be Plague Wards. I mean, I haven't kept an eye on this lane, so I cannot say for sure, but I mean, they kind of have to be, right? I mean, otherwise, that would be some sick amount of farm. I would really expect the Storm Spirit to do like fairly well for himself with the overload, but not this kind of difference, man. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on just to see if those are Plague Wards, but they are level 3 now, so it's getting harder and harder to kill them, but man, 26 is doubling Venomancer.
Yeah, he's doing pretty bad. I mean, it's really just a mother playing really aggressively in this mid lane and playing to his advantage very well. Like every time he has that overload, he has level 2 overload, which is very uncommon in a Storm. Usually go 1-3-1, but it's just so he can take advantage of this laning phase, I guess.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, Overload, definitely a good ability to farm and whatnot, but Electric Vortex, the duration increase is actually pretty significant on the stun there, or the pull, however you want to call it, 0.5 seconds per skill up. Definitely nice as far as just disables go. But
yeah,
skill score, still 1-0 HellRaisers. Holding on to that one kill that they got mid lane now though. Goddamn, coming in on the Enigma. The Malphite might just be enough. Ball lighting from half an inch. Yeah, it's gonna be an easy kill. Electric Vortex Malphite. They are just kind of stacking their stuns a little bit unnecessarily so, but they get the kill. They do get Venom Scaled, both of them, but it doesn't do any damage when it's level 1, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but that's I mean that's 2 kills already going for HellRaisers team. They're definitely taking advantage of this phase when we thought the Lions should be the ones doing so.
But the fact still remains, they are the ones that should be having a great laning phase. Of course, if you run dual lanes, there's little to no chance that you're actually like gonna wreck the lane or anything, just because at best you're gonna be 2 versus 1, and usually offlaners, they are used to deal with just against 3 heroes, so 2 will just be fine for them. Like we can see Gorets and the Shakiro having an excellent time bottom lane. So maybe with just not going for a tri-lane, either aggressive or defensive one, maybe they hurt themselves a little bit more than it helped. Of course, then again, it's not like a Dazzle Ancient Abrasion would have been the best roaming combination, just because, well, you don't have proper slows. I guess you have the Ice Vortex, but you have no means to close the cap or stun something like a Fissure, nothing like that, so even had they gone for a tri-lane and roaming supports, that might not have worked out either, so I guess it's like a reasonable decision to go for the most solid lanes they could, but Hansken bottom lane, Iskor is gonna get yet another solo kill in this bottom lane. One more right click and that's gonna be the end of Ancient Apparition. My god, Gorets, he is just schooling Lions on this bottom lane.
That is really unfortunate, to be honest. It's just that this solo Jakiro is beating a Morphling in a Ancient Apparition, and mostly because Era is always... Like, you don't seem too coordinated, in my opinion. Ancient Apparition and Era just seem to be doing, like, different things completely every time.
And mid lane, they get Ape Mother as well. I really love the goddamn. He even had a sentry in his inventory. I'm not too sure if it was a remnant from before or something, but there was an Invis rune bottled up for the Venomancer. Still not enough to save him just because they came prepared. 4th kill for HellRaisers. 4-0. Storm Spirit, he is on a tier. He's already level 8 compared to a level 6 Venomancer. I guess almost level 7, but they are doing so well, and goddamn, he's going for the top lane. They have the Black Hole, they want to get Shonas and Fan, and they might even succeed if they get Ancient Seal now. They get the slow from Concussive Shot as well. Blink forward, Black Hole used. Do they have the Mana Void? No, they don't. The Time Walk might come out, never mind. The lockdown is long enough. They even place a lane ward as well. It's just a beauty to watch what HellRaisers are doing.
Yeah, they're playing really well. That Enigma play earlier with the sentry, like you mentioned. Now that Black Hole was very necessary, I think, to be able to kill a Void, which also has not been farming amazingly well. If you look at his last hits, he's like down there with all the supports. So it's just, I don't know, they're playing amazingly, and they're really... Oh, now the Storm goes down against Hanskin. Hanskin getting dealt a lot of damage, and he's going to go down. Era is now in trouble. Storm wants a little bit more damage, but Era can more strength still. And there's a Dazzle coming in. Era, they receiving Liquid Fire. One more hit ought to do it for Era, but no, they're going to go on Seal Kid now. He has Shallow Grave, and he should be able to survive unless the Dual Breath kills him. No, he's going to be okay. Now, Storm has no mana to go on Era again, but he's recharging with his bottle. He's going to go back mid.
Yeah, Gorets himself, of course, low on mana now as well, having used the Dual Breath, and he has gone for maxing out Dual Breath as well, beside the Liquid Fire. So not a single point into Ice Path. It's kind of a peculiar build, but I guess since maybe he isn't rushing a Eul Scepter, so Ice Path might not be as necessary, or maybe they feel like that they have plenty of lockdown or just means to catch up to people anyway without him going for Ice Path. And I can't say it's wrong. I mean, they have the Black Hole, Malphite, Blink from the Anti-Mage, just Storm Spirit Ball Lightning again. And Hanscan goes down again. My freaking god, 7-0 HellRaisers. Can they even be stopped, man?
I mean, they definitely can, but it's gonna be hard for Lions to do so. They really need to up their game right now. The supports, like Hanskin specifically, needs to stop dying. He's given 4 deaths. That's more than half the kills on the HellRaisers. And they really need to, I mean, set up good defensive wards, make sure Storm stops ganking them, and also stop underestimating guards. Seal Kid now in trouble. Afone just wants to kill him straight up, and that Liquid Fire should be enough to kill him off. Era now fighting both guards and Afone. Era might be going down. There's a Liquid Fire as well, but Afone receiving a lot of damage. Era, one more hit ought to do it. Oh, the Morph Strength is too powerful. They can't stop this Morphling. You can't kill a Morphling, my friend. Goritz is being juked by Era. Era now trying to find Afone, who has no mana left, and Goritz gets hit slightly by that, that's the Ice Bath, so trying to stop Era. I don't know if that was like a desperate skill just to be able to kill Era, but sadly, they all get away. And
But,
meanwhile...
this Shakira is making 3 heroes back off. Of course, granted, Sealkid and Era already pretty low on both health and mana, but this Shakira is just absolute man mode. Plus, of course, the kill of the Venomancer once again. Goddamn, he has been a part of 4 kills already on the Enigma. Of course, I guess his farm has been slowed down a little bit because of this, but just because he has been so successful with the rotations. We're still gonna get this mech fairly early on. Goretz wants to go for handscan once again, my god. There is no rest for this ancient apparition. The one good thing is though the Venomancer has picked up in the last hits, 52 to 7. But of course 3 deaths as well, so you're kind of losing most of the gold you're gaining.
Yeah, I completely agree. And just want to point out, on Goritz, he seems to be going for the Euro Scepter with that Void Stone, unless he wants to do something weird. So the skill build becomes even more interesting because I don't really understand it anymore.
I guess maybe he really wants to maximize the just attack slow coming out from the Dual Breath and Liquid Fire both. If you have both on like a Morphing or Faceless Void, they're just not scary, period. They can't do anything at all almost. So maybe that's the reasoning behind this, but he's gonna find Handscan now. Oh god, if he lands the Dual Breath, Liquid Fire first, Dual Breath will not follow because he sees Era as well. But the Liquid Fire itself already being maxed out now, Handscan, he cannot take too many of those. It's ridiculous that the Liquid Fire doesn't cost any mana. I mean, I think that's the sickest part about that ability.
Yeah, it's just that you can spam it freely, completely, and you know you don't even have to think about it. It's such a powerful ability, to be honest, and it used to be not even leveled up before on Jakiro when he was support. Such an interesting change in meta. I remember when I started being leveled up, people started thinking it was good, and it was like, oh, what a revelation.
So, mid lane, do they really want to go on Afaninj? I mean, Jonathan Fan is there, he has the Chronosphere, so I guess that's like the only ability you can kill a Storm Spirit with at this point for them. And
Yeah.
looks like Storm Spirit going for a Soul Ring now. Is it just... well, he zips forward to the high ground, but Afaninj, is he going for straight off Bloodstone, really? Or is it just a casual Soul Ring into something else?
I think he might want to go Soul Ring and then go for maybe Orchid, something of the sort, and then turn it into Bloodstone. Oh, the tower is going to be... yeah, it's going to be destroyed. But yeah, I think that might be his build. The Soul Ring is actually kind of good on the Storm Spirit. It's pretty powerful on you, so it's not bad to have it early and then just build an Orchid before finishing up your Bloodstone. So yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It really depends on what Avalanche wants to do. He haven't had much trouble in terms of dying. So.
Man, they get the tower down as well. It is the second tier one going down. Bottom lane did get denied, so that's good for them. But oh, Afaninj finds Handscan. It's gonna be such an easy kill. And Era can't do anything but just watch his teammate die. Mech gonna be finished on the Enigma as well. 9-0 is the kill score. Looking at the graphs, about a 6k net worth lead. XP nearing 7,000 already. My freaking god, man. HellRaisers, this is one of the best performances I've seen out of them, and it's against a rather strong team as well, so it's even more just surprising because of that.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I know what to say. HellRaisers is just doing such an amazing job here. To be honest, I gotta admit that it seems like Lajons, maybe that's my opinion, but since the fuse, they seem to be lacking a little bit of communication between them. Especially bottom lane, I saw with Aaron Hanskin, perhaps. But I don't know. It really, maybe with some time they get better at that. It really depends on them.
I really think that if you're running lineups that are so just lockdown light, you either A, have to ban out the heroes that can take full advantage of that, like Weaver, Anti-Mage, and the Storm Spirit, for example,
Yep.
or you have to crush just early game. That are the two ways to deal with this, but neither of those have really worked out for them, or they didn't go for the first one. As we can see, Anti-Mage and Storm Spirit very much in the pool for them. Jonathan Van, he time walks forward towards the creep wave, gets dual breath immediately, and cannot even farm. That's just sad.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier the possibility of an orchid. Do you think in this case it might be a need?
It's definitely not a bad choice, and it looks like he might be going for one with that robe of Magi on him. Just because, jump on the Dazzle, lock him
Oh,
down, maybe silence up the Faceless Void, make it so that the Chronosphere can't even come out. But speaking of the Faceless Void, it really looks like he's going for a Hand of Midas. Just because otherwise I think Power Threads would have been finished already.
oh no.
It,
That's
it's like you kind of needed to take this to the later stages of the game maybe, but Malphite's bottom lane, they want to go for Aero. Afaninge is around as well. They do see Seal Kit though, but Afaninge doesn't have too much mana to work with. With the Soul Ring, maybe a little bit more. So they're just gonna make the TP out now. Ice Blast finally there, goddamn, will even get hit, but makes a little difference. But yeah, I mean, Orchid against Dazzle and the Face Void is fine. But man, Jonas and fan, Midas, fan or not.
yeah. The Midas, I mean, it's greedy. It's pretty greedy thinking that you're losing by this much, and they're really losing considerably going for Midas. I mean, only Arteezy can pull this off. No, but in all honesty, it could be recovery minus of sorts. Oh god damn it, I'm being caught by the Chronosphere, and that's the poison touch. This could be the first kill, but wow, this guy with me. Plus the black hole now, Sealkin and Johnson Fan in deep trouble. They're both gonna go down. Now they're going on Ape Mother. Ape Mother, suffering the souls from happening, but happening not being hit by the Ice Blast. There's the Anti-Mage Artist dealing a lot of damage to Ape Mother. He has the ultimate and Era. He might be going down for the first time. He's been silenced, and that's a dead Morphling. Artist still trying to kill Ape Mother, but Ape Mother's juking him pretty well, actually. Artist cannot find him. Meanwhile, Hanskin is kind of hiding in the trees there. Artist is now gonna fight Sealkin and Ape Mother. Ape Mother going down completely. Sealkin, next one to die with that silence, and the only guy missing that hasn't died yet is Hanskin because he's been put in the trees. I don't know if they know he's there. They don't.
Yeah, they do not, and well, that's GG.
GG.
Well played. 15
Oh my
minutes in, my god, 14-0 HellRaisers. Oh god, I'm at the lack for words. This is just beyond belief, man.
Yeah, there's nothing else you can do. I mean, I agree, I guess, to some extent. They got crushed so badly, they'd rather they'd rather preserve their morale for the next game.
It's not the worst choice, I guess, as well, but guys, having said that, this is a best of 3, so there's still a chance that Lions will come back, maybe draft a little bit more to their own strength, just because this just didn't work out in the slightest. I mean, 0 deaths on HellRaisers, my freaking god, 14-0 kill score. But guys, hope you enjoyed the cast, hope you enjoyed the game as well. We will be coming back with game number 2 as soon as it starts, of course. Hopefully not gonna take more than a couple minutes time. So until then, guys, if you enjoy the cast, you can always follow HeflaTV for more content. It is Facebook and twitter.com/HeflaTV, where we're always gonna update you on the games we're casting and on which channels and whatnot. Also, if you like the casters and want to leave them some feedback or just follow them, it's at Coucher for me and the Swordfishman. Where can people find you?
You can find me at DSwordfish on Twitter, or find me on Facebook with the name Dark Lightcaster. See you guys there.
Yes, so see you guys for game number 2.